Hecho en español. Ahora tenemos un gran estreno. Vamos todos a reaccionar a la nueva serie de Zorro. Tenemos a Polly de Latinos Land, también mi co-host el Lily, y tenemos el gran Andre de Midnight Hedge.
Hola, ¿cómo
Gracias.
están?
El jefe de los jefes.
El jefe de los jefes, el mero mero.
Tenemos a nuevo trailer de Zorro, la nueva programa desde España, en español, premiering January, the end of January on Amazon Prime. This is pretty exciting. Let's get a quick little background on Zorro, because one of the biggest Zorro fans is Andre. So, Zorro, what are your thoughts, Zorro?
Well, gracias. Well, yeah, just to give a quick background on Zorro, like everyone is familiar with who Zorro is. They will have seen some earlier version of it, whether it be the Antonio Banderas movies or the 1990s series with Duncan Regehr from the Family Channel, or even the 1950s Disney series, which probably is the most iconic Zorro series in Latin America. So everyone has some level of familiarity with Zorro. But actually, Zorro started in the pulp magazines, started with a miniseries called The Curse of Capistrano, which was written by Johnston Macaulay in 1919. And this series was then adapted into the first modern action feature film called The Masks of Zorro in the year 1920 by Douglas Fairbanks. We have a watch party of that movie right here on Midnight's Edge. Check it out. It's a fantastic movie. Set the template for all action movies to follow. That movie was remade again in 1940 with Basil Rathbone and Tyrone Powers, another amazing movie. Mm-hmm. And there have been numerous Zorro adaptations ever since, really setting the mark on popular culture, especially in Latin America. And culture then, of course, is inspired by the real life Robin Hood, Alejandro Murrieta. And the Scarlet Pimpernel, Joaquin. Pardon, Joaquin Alejandro. That was the brother in the movie.
Right,
Joaquin
that was
Murrieta.
The made-up brother. Right?
Yes, exactly. So that's why I got confused. But yes, Joaquin Murrieta and the Scarlet Pimpernel. These are the inspirations for Zorro. But Zorro, in turn, went on to influence first and foremost Batman. So much of Batman is lifted straight from Zorro. So yeah, and in many ways is the grandfather of all modern day superheroes.
Well, I say we jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like the way this whole new show came up on us. We've been hearing about so many other productions in development. They still haven't happened. I'm kind of grateful that some of those haven't happened. Some of those...
Yes, we dodged some bullets there.
They just sounded horrible.
You weren't expecting the niece of horror?
This one was produced and shot in Spain at the Canary Islands. It has an international cast, including Miguel Bernardeau, who is taking on Don Diego de la Vega. Diego de la Vega, Miguel Bernardeau, and as well as international cast, like I said, Renata Notni from Mexico. Not some good looking people. I really like that.
Yeah,
I
have to say I do appreciate that the Bernardeau, who plays Don Diego himself, is from mainland Spain. This kind of like fits because I don't recall how much detailed they gave in the original novel, but in the story he's implied to be first or second generation immigrant. So even in the story, he went back to Madrid for his education. That's where he learned to fence, and then he returned to California, then under Mexican rule, because the original story is set right around 1820, thereabouts.
Right, where it was
about
still
1 century before it was written, when California was still under Mexican rule.
right. So 1820, 1826 is when Mexico finally, broke free from Spain. But yeah, this is a great time. This is a great setting. Let's get into it and then get everyone's reactions. Here we go.
Se ve muy lindo, especialmente la cinematografía.
Yo pensaba que ya te ibas a quedar en España. Bienvenido.
Oh, yeah. Especially her.
Soy la voz de los espíritus. Si estás aquí es porque ellos te han elegido para que seas el nuevo defensor de estas tierras. Nadie puede escapar a su destino y el tuyo es ser el nuevo Zorro.
El nuevo Zorro.
Todos parecen implicados. El gobernador, los rusos, hasta el mejor amigo de mi padre.
Un rico no puede defender a los pobres. Yo defenderé a los nuestros con tu apoyo o sin él.
¿Qué fue eso?
Nice.
Tú te vas, te olvidas de todo y ahora pretendes hacer como si nada hubiera pasado.
Pause it right there. What did she say? What did that mean? I've been following pretty much everything that was said so far. There she said something. Do you think that I forgot or something? What did she say?
Let's play it again and we'll stop.
Tú te vas, te olvidas de todo y ahora pretendes hacer como si nada hubiera pasado.
O sea, you leave and then you come back and then you come back, thinking that
that we're just
nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Here, I'd also like to add some bit of trivia. This woman's name is obviously Lolita.
Mm-hmm.
In the original story, The Curse of Capistrano, the name of Zorro's love interest, or Diego's love interest, is Lolita Pulido. So this is obviously her. This is straight back to The Curse of Capistrano.
Yeah, and here it's credited as Lolita Marquez. That's Mexican actress Renata Notni. Excuse me, Notni. Ooh, what a last name. Okay, let's continue.
Enrique, ven, él es Diego de la Vega, un amigo de la infancia.
Encantado.
Igualmente.
Es la ley, don Diego. Aquí la ley se cumple o se paga por ello.
Podéis estar seguros de que no pararé hasta que él termine colgado de una soga. ¡Rápido! ¡Que no escape!
Es el heredero de la fortuna de Alejandro.
¿Tengo que matarlo?
Zorro es el peor enemigo del orden en California. La máscara es tuya. Honrala.
All right, let's get immediate reaction. Go for it.
Let's go, Lily.
Bueno, pues de primera vista, como estaba diciendo Fletcher, sí se ve muy bonita. Y a mí me gusta que también Zorro está muy guapo. Por eso no estaba diciendo nada, porque
No, está bien.
La versión con la que vi yo cuando estaba chiquita fue la versión con Antonio Banderas. So, yo comparo a todos con él, pero no, este actor sí se ve que va a ser muy bueno. Wow.
Nice.
Sí, y me parece que tomaron un guión de varias otras obras que han pasado hace poco, especialmente incluir como un poco de nativos americanos, indígenas en la historia de Zorro, que en verdad no teníamos un poco más, echarlo un poco más western americano, capaz. I don't know. What do you think, Andre, about that? The whole inclusion of a more native, more like a, I guess, traditional Western style also into the Zorro thing, because usually it was, mostly against the Spanish, governor and stuff like that. But
I'm
now they're adding that
very glad
native
you
term.
mentioned that, because actually this is straight back to the original Zorro story, because the Native American element was significant in that one. So this is all, at least, yeah, that's kind of like the thing that I mean with the diversity. Zorro lends itself perfectly for that, because
Right.
in the original story, there are Native Americans with speaking roles in the story. There are blacks. There are obviously the mestizos, and you even have like the Spaniards, the ruling class. So all of that is there. I think that this looks absolutely fantastic. I loved the inclusion of the Native Americans. It's perfect.
Right, and for those of you that are listening in English, and for the thing, mestizos is usually mixed. Those who are mixed race of the time, and you see a lot of the um, kind of taken out of the native part from the, like Lily said, the Antonio Banderas part. All that part was kind of like taken out, and in this one, you could tell they're trying to flesh it up more of like the book, even adding some Russians into it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Really cool.
Yeah. I just have like, because I love what I'm seeing. I think this looks spectacular. My one issue, and this is what they have changed, because there appears to be some implication here that that the father of Don Diego, Don Alejandro, is dead. Because at least that's what I get from it. Because he's talking about, here is the best friend of my father, and then they do all this talk about Zorro will return. The mask is now yours. Honor it. So the implication being that there was another Zorro before. That's the only thing I don't like about this, because Don Diego de la Vega is the first Zorro. He created Zorro. But here they have made it. So he's basically the Antonio Banderas character, the Alejandro
but it's more like
Murrieta,
a
all
son of
over again,
Zorro.
that he's a second
Yeah.
Zorro, like the son of Zorro.
Yeah.
So this is something that they have changed, and that's something I don't necessarily like, that he's a runner-up, that he's like someone that takes on the mantle. But no,
Yeah.
Don Diego is the original. Like, I really, really enjoyed the Banderas movie, because it's like so clear in that one. Here you have the old man, Don Diego, who is too old to be Zorro anymore, so he passes on the mantle to Alejandro Murrieta, which is fantastic, because as we said, Joaquin Murrieta is the inspiration for the real historic Zorro, or the real fictional Zorro. So that's perfect. I love that. But that they here change it so that Don Diego himself is the second Zorro, that I don't like. Then I'm real curious to what they're going to do, because just from the trailer, it then looks like Alejandro might have been the first Zorro. And also just looking at the masks here, this is something that I noticed, that you have like him with the mask right there. That appears to be like the second Zorro. But then you have like another mask, one that covers the entire face. And I would speculate that that might be flashbacks to the first and original Zorro. And the funny thing is that that's kind of like how he was described in the original story. The traditional story that we see right now with the mask and everything, that was an invention of the 1920 movie. He didn't look like that in the story.
That's a great shot right here.
Yeah. It also kind of harkens back a little bit, because it does look like a capidore, which is kind of like the the religious garbs that they would wear like in Italy and Spain, for like they were hiding their their identities, while they were going around town, and that it harkened back to a little bit to that. But also it's kind of interesting, it did kind of has like a almost like a spiritual side of it, in the way they said. I don't know if anybody, if you guys remember when they were showing that part where it's like, es parte de tu espíritu or something like that. Like he was like, they were trying to say that it was some kind of like
early on,
like a mystical, handing them down also. So it's almost like the Black Panther thing, like it's generational, but it's somehow tied to spiritual. I wonder if they're tying it with the Native American side of it, in a sense.
Oh, that's interesting. I did notice that too.
Yeah, right, Lily?
Mhm.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also getting here too that he is dreaming here, and he's being, maybe it's what is it, an owl? What was
And
that?
then you know what? I really wasn't expecting for it to be in Spanish. That surprised me.
I'm very happy it is, though. I mean, that's
Yeah.
more authentic. I just wish that that like the more originals had been. But again, like what I say to myself
Yeah,
is,
there.
we already have the definitive versions of the adaptations of the original story. In fact, we have two of them from 1920 and 1940, and they are shot for shot, page for page, the original story. So you can afford to do like some different spins and everything. Not sure I like Don Diego being the second Zorro, but I'm excited to see what they do with this. I mean, this looks fantastic.
Thank
Yeah, but
God.
it did say like it had that.
Thank God. And you know what I'm seeing too with the Joaquin Murrieta production, and in having the director on, talking about they had so much certain creativity that Amazon let them have, independence and creativity in the production. That's what's, that was a really good show. I don't know if anyone got a chance to see the Joaquin Murrieta show last year.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, and if
you know why, Jennifer Salke was too busy ruining Game of Thrones and well, not Game of Thrones, but
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rings of Power.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
literally, that's what it was. She was too busy ruining the Rings of Power and the Wheel of Time. That took all her attention. So Zorro just slipped by her grasp. If she had paid attention to it, she would have ruined it.
And that was also an Amazon, wasn't it, Paulie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is also an Amazon. It's in conjunction, I think, with a Spanish studio that it also, I believe, are producing a Count of Monte Cristo show also.
Oh, really?
If
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
another
mistaken.
big European production coming
Wow.
next year, like
Yeah.
big international Count of Monte Cristo. They said that they were going to modernize that as well in some fashion, which has me nervous. But again, that's also something that we have fantastic adaptations of. But then I'm like, how are you going to modernize the Count of Monte Cristo? That's a word I have learned to dislike now.
Yeah, 100%. Anytime they mention modernized in any form of media, right away I'm just like, okay, what exactly do they mean by that?
Two fantastic, well, multiple, but two in particular of the Count of Monte Cristo. You have like a mini series with Gérard Depardieu and Ornella Muti, which is page for page adaptation from the book, and then you also have the one with Henry Cavill from 2002, which is freaking fantastic. It takes liberties, but these are great liberties.
God, I haven't seen it. I need to see that one.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to see it. It's so good. You'll love it.
It's just been forever,
It's so good. You'll love it. So yeah, do watch that one.
And that one's just such a good story in general too. So I'm excited for that also. Wow.
Yeah. But until then, yeah, we have some good stuff to look forward to this year coming out to Europe. So looking forward to this. And I do love this. I love the Spanish production, Spanish language, which of course is a character here, and also how you basically then have the lead Zorro himself from mainland, everyone else native to the Americas. That's exactly how it should be. Oh, and Russians.
And
Russians.
and
Chinese.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically that is 1800s California.
Yeah. That is California, 1920s.
1820s, yeah.
1820s, yeah. Sorry.
And the camera work here, I'm seeing some wonderfully shot stuff.
Yeah, it does look, it's very pretty. The only thing that I saw that's kind of jarring a little bit is it looks like they're shooting the indoor scenes and some of the action scenes like in different stock. Like if you see some of the things, it's, when it jumps into like an indoor scene, it has more of a like telenovela kind of look to it a little bit. Kind of like they did with like that Águila. I think it was Águila Roja where they did kind of like a similar, which is a kind of like a Zorro offshoot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There, I did see a little telenovela-ish kind of like
Yeah.
that. It's the lighting too.
Yeah.
You know, especially with the female characters. But there's that mask you were talking about, Andre.
Yeah.
That's one of them. But there's one that was covering the entire face.
Yeah, I think that was later on. I think that was later on.
There's a shot somewhere in here of a mask covering the entire face, and I would speculate that would be the first Zorro, based only on the fact that that's how he looked in the original story.
Yeah, more of like a capuchon or like a whole like scowl thing. Yeah, like look at those shots; those are like very cinematic. And then when they went into the indoor shots, so it's almost like thinking, are the different crews, you know, doing different shots and stuff, and then they're trying to color correct it and as they go.
I would think that if anything, they just it's kind of just it's not matching, maybe because of they're in a studio and the studio lighting, or is a little
Well, they were filming this all over the place, right? You had like outdoor shots here, and then indoor shots maybe could be in the mainland. So it could just be a matter of there being different crews, different setups, and then you try to put it together in editing afterwards.
I just noticed something here. Those are Indians that they're gonna hang.
Yeah.
And Zorro comes to the rescue. That's awesome.
And that's just like the original stories.
Well, Fletcher and Lily, I think it's time for you guys when this show comes out to do some episode breakdowns.
No, that's for sure.
Ooh, definitely. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be fun.
And before then, maybe we can. Oh, there we go. There it is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what sort of looked like in the original story.
Oh, yes, you're right. That's right.
Oh, that's cool.
I would speculate that this might be. Again, we don't know what they're going with here, but I would speculate. Oh yeah, you see there. That's the guy that was introduced as the best friend of the father, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
And next to him is probably the father, Alejandro, the original Zorro, would be my best guess.
The governor.
Great.
Yeah, it's very noir.
And yeah, you see, actually, it's the same mask, only he has like this cover in front of him, like this scarf over the rest of his face. That's not quite like the original Zorro, but close enough.
I'm loving all the elements, and I like this guy's look. He's a stud. You want a bona fide stud to be Zorro. That's all I gotta say.
You do. Totally.
Yeah.
There's another thing that they have changed though, because he's a stud, as you say. He's not the complete boring sop that's going to turn all the ladies off. That's something that in the original story, Don Diego did that. He was kind of like the first Clark Kent in a way, where he pretends to be this super weakling,
golly guy.
Yeah, exactly. But then he's in reality this ultra masculine tough guy. He's just pretending to throw off suspicion. That began with Zorro.
Yeah. Well, lots to look forward to in this show. 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I didn't even know this is coming out. That's why I'm like really excited.
Those are the best things though, when you just get something that you weren't aware of just suddenly drop. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's thank El Jefe de los Jefes, Andre of Midnight's Edge, for joining us. Gracias, señor.
Muchas gracias, jefe.
Thank you, Andre.
Well, thanks for being here, and I look forward to discussing the series with you all when it comes out.
Y no te olviden que acá en Midnight's Edge en español todos los días tenemos 2 shorts diarios. Y por favor, se pongan ese suscribir, pongan esa campana y dale un like a este video y nos regresan para otra vez para más noticias en español. ¿Verdad, Lili?
Sí, no se les olvide, déjenos un comentario de lo que piensan de esta nueva serie que va a salir y esperen a cuando saquemos los shorts y las revistas de cada episodio.
Eso. Gracias, Poli. Gracias, André. Gracias, Lili. Gracias a todos.
Adiós.